The tape. What's grime? The tape. We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. What's grime?
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
What's grime?
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. What's grime?
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
What's grime?
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The tape. What's grime?
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
What's grime?
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. What's grime?
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
What's grime?
Grind the tape, bro.
What's grime?
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut up
tape.
and grind.
What's grime?
Grind the tape, bro.
What's grime?
Grind the tape, bro.
What's grime?
Grind the tape,
The
bro.
tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guide Network on a fabulous Monday evening. Hey, here's the deal. Monday nights moving forward, you got options. We're glad if you choose us during the live stream. All right, hit that thumbs up right now if you already did. All right, if you're watching this on rewatch because you chose to watch Monday Night Football, welcome in. Thanks for loving college football. Welcome back in, I should say. We got a loaded one for you, as always. Going to get the boys' final thoughts on a crazy week 2, or as we call it, I don't think we deem this term. I think it's a known term in college football. A little sleep week. Week 2 in college football every year seems to be like, hey, watch out, don't get snuck up on. And a lot of big boys did. So we'll talk about that, or allow the boys to talk about that. We got previews and predictions already rolling for the weekend, as you can see by the title of tonight's show. And boys, we got coaches talking about pooping.
Oh, lovely.
Yep. We got head football coaches talking about pooping, so we're going to lead the show with that. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rating, reviewing. Let's start there. Arch Manning, I went viral this weekend. Everybody went viral this weekend, pointing out, oh, this dude looks like he is hurting. Turns out, we told you Sunday, he just be making that face. He just be making a face like that every once in a while when he throws the football, which prompted Steve Sarkisian to ask the media, do you make weird faces when you poop? And I get what he's trying to do. I think he was saying that's his strained face. That's what he looks like when he strains. What do you look like when you strain? It's a way better way of asking that than what you look like when you poop.
I honestly don't even know where to go with the conversation after that, but like it's such a weird response to that. And like I've never seen I understand, and I got in a little bit of a conversation with you about this morning I understand that, when you watch a pitcher throw a pitch, you might see them make a face like that, but that was not I'm trying to put everything I have into this throw type of face. That was a very grimacing, because before the ball's even out of his hands, it seems like he's kind of grimacing at something or whatever. It just looked very unorthodox to me.
Now, when I first saw the video, I kind of thought, maybe this is I just had another miss, because that pass was in the dirt on a dig route. So it was one of those things where that's what I kind of anticipated it was. I didn't ever think that maybe necessarily he was injured or if he was throwing injured. I mean, if he was throwing injured, I feel like Sark would have the wherewithal to pull him out of a San Jose State game, but very weird comment.
I think it's a great PR spin, not a spin, but we're going to sit here and people are going to make jokes about the poop comments, and people are going to talk about this weird reaction, and people are going to have it's very, very weird type of response to this. And that's a good diversion, because the reality, according to this, is that he is not hurt. And that only leaves us to believe that the mechanics are indeed that faltered at this point, which to me is even more concerning. I was almost hoping for the kid that he was indeed maybe compensating for something, right? Because that means in the future, everything's going to be nice and clean like it was. This is supposed to be a mechanically clean football player, and he does not look like that. And that's a big concern to me, guys, that we're through 2 starts and we got a whole bunch of funky stuff. We're overstriding. We're leaning left and right. We're throwing ducks. We're overthrowing. Some of those balls that he's throwing, why are we ripping? Why are we straining like that? Why are we ripping every football? Why are we throwing mesh routes at people's feet at 110 miles an hour? If we're not hurt, we're mechanically faltered, and that's a big concern if I'm a Texas fan.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there was definitely some positive takeaways from Texas's outing. Now, it took a little bit of time. At the beginning of that game, it was a slow start for Texas. It looked like San Jose State was maybe going to get some momentum early on in that football game, but defense stepped up. And then you got some nice, easy hitters. You got some explosive plays from the passing game, and Arch and them kind of settled in. And after that, they just kind of coasted. But from just a pure, you're analyzing Arch, it still didn't look as clean as you think it should be, or at least what it looked like last year when he was having to step in for Quinn and during those 2 starts and whatnot.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I'm worried about right now is inconsistencies for him. I think that even if it's mechanical, if it's confidence-wise, if there's an injury, whatever it is, the fact that he's been this inconsistent throughout 2 games, just from an accuracy standpoint, not necessarily decision-making. I feel like he's made the mostly correct decisions. There have only been a couple of instances where I'm like, why did you throw that football? But the decisions of how to throw the football and the location you're throwing the football and just the flat-out accuracy of it have been very, very concerning. So I think that's where I'll leave that.
Speaking of concerning, boys, there was a pretty big concerning loss this weekend down in Gainesville, Florida, as the South Florida Bulls pull off an 18.5-point upset over the Florida Gators in their place out there at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. What were your thoughts of that ball game this weekend, boys?
This looked like a Florida team that was 7-5, but really thought that they were a college football playoff contender because everyone told them their quarterback was great. And the quarterback didn't play great, so the rest of the team crumbled under. I was floored at how poorly DJ Lagway played in this game. And yes, it's a group effort. It takes an entire team to fail. But the offensive output that we saw, especially within the red zone, was not very good from DJ Lagway. And the stat sheet won't show it.
I'm going to get to you in just a second because he walked me right into every single one of my film notes. Kirby, he looked like a player that hadn't practiced because he's a player that hasn't practiced. The first throw, he sails a tight end that's wide open down the sideline, should be a touchdown. Misses him by about 7 yards. Right after that, a couple of possessions later, they have what should be a defensive pass interference called on a tight end, but instead the ball's thrown 10 yards out of the back of the end zone. Just absolutely sailed it. Being very, very flippant with his mechanics in the pocket. Missed the same exact tight end on a walk-in touchdown on, a very clean pocket, just bailing out of it for no reason, being very flippant with his mechanics. Misses that guy sails. It gives an opportunity for the defense to break in on the football they do. There's a comeback route, 15 back down to 12. That's all timing, all rapport, all have you done it 1,000 times with your wide receiver. He spikes it. I mean, just absolutely spikes it in the ground. The film reeked of This is a young, talented football player who doesn't play a lot of football, hadn't played a lot of football, hadn't practiced a lot of football, and I think it costs him a football game.
I mean, even outside of what DJ Lagway showcased this past weekend, the biggest concern from Florida for me consistently has always been like, this team is not disciplined. This team is they continue to like have blunders in big football games or in crucial moments of a football game, and you had one happen on the final drive of that football game when it looked like you're about to put them away. It looked like you're about to take that game and win that football game, keep USF from driving down the field, and you have a player spit on another player, and then you have several missed tackles on a screen that puts them immediately into field goal position.
What in the hell were they doing on the sideline? All they got to do is knock that kid out of bounds.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
I don't know. And that's the thing is that appears to be a question that I have when watching Florida far too often is I don't know. I don't know why they're choosing to do what they are doing. It's a blunder to me. I don't understand. And it's been that type of conversation for me about Florida since Billy Napier got there.
Too many mistakes in the little things. And like you said, yes, DJ Lagway looks like he has not practiced enough, which we all agree he hasn't. That was a red flag for us back in the offseason when, he was out with calf strain or he had an abdominal strain or shoulder injury, whatever it was. It kept him off the field. That was a concern for us. But you're right, Jay. Well, the amount of little things that they do wrong, like the phantom, not even phantom, but weird penalties that are going to keep costing Florida coaches jobs is one of the most interesting things ever. We had a shoe throw 5 years ago, and now we've got someone spitting on a USF player that extends a drive and ultimately leads to your demise. So very interesting, very telling, honestly.
I have two other notes from film. One, and I keep wanting to say this because it's almost as if they don't know. Watching that game, they called plays like they don't know this. I think Jaden Ball is going to be $1 million player in the portal if and when Billy Napier gets fired. Like everybody thinks DJ Lagway is going to be the big prize possession. He is. He's going to be one of these free agents if this ultimately happens, if Napier gets canned. But Jaden Ball is a really, really good football player. All right. Not just a good runner of the football either. He's great in pass protection for my money. All right. From what I've seen. And he's just a sophomore. All right. I think he's one of their best football players. They gave him 5 totes in the opening possession, and they walked the football. He got 13 carries the rest of the football game. It blew my mind. They kept giving the ball to number 24, who I always forget the name
Jacoby
of.
Jackson.
They keep giving him the football. He had you know what it reminded me of? Reminded me of the game where Sony was obviously the hot hand, but they kept giving the ball to Chubb back in the Georgia days. Like, you got to ride the hot hand correctly when you're a play caller here, especially in tight football games. Rep share be damned. Ride the hot hand. It was very obvious to me. The other thing about this, play calling, very, very weird. Very, very weird for Billy Napier. As a prideful offensive coordinator, he going to keep calling them plays, baby. No matter how much 500 football they play, he going to keep calling them offensive plays, to a detriment of his football team too in this one, because it's very weird. It's like he gets into position and then he wants everybody to know he's the most exciting and eventful offensive coordinator in the history of offensive football. I got multiple things here that are very, very weird to me. First and foremost, why are we calling a double pass, like double reverse pass, when it's a 3-3 football game? All right, here's my thing about like trick plays, about, we're going to get a big explosive off of eye discipline. We're going to trick them. You better be doing that up 17-3. That's the I'm cutting the head off jugular right before the half. We are dominating this football game. Guys, he calls a double reverse pass. It's 3-3. They finally have an offensive pulse, and now he wants to be cute. I don't understand that. I also do not understand 1st and 20. We just got called for a hold. Hell, maybe 1st and 25. And we want to hop in the Wildcat? Why? It's 1st and 25. Why are we letting the whole world know we're running the football? It's about to be 2nd and 20, big dog. And that ain't really a good offensive possession. All right, so that's weird to me. Now, you got bailed out because of a face mask penalty. Good on you. But it's bad processes. I don't like it. Speaking of bad processes, what are we doing asking Eugene Wilson to wham block a 3 technique? Why are we asking a 5'11", 185-pound wide receiver who should be getting more touches to run in motion and block the in-man on the line of scrimmage? Also, we changed the assignment mid-play on him and let the 3 technique go. Bad enough we're asking him to go block the 250-pounder on split zone action. Really, really bad that the 3 tech showed up in front of him. Whole lot going weird before we even talk about horrible clock management at the end of the football game, before we even talk about why in the hell are we spitting on dudes at the end of it.
You know what? Honestly, at this point, I understand we have some issues with Billy Napier calling offensive plays down in Florida, but honestly, respect to him. Like if you're
stand on it, dude.
just stand on it. If you're gonna burn the ship down, go down with it. Like it's gonna be because I didn't execute my part of the job either. But the only inverse of that is you have no scapegoat. You don't have an offensive play caller that you can put blame on this. You don't have someone that you can walk to the edge of the plank and say, "Oh, he's the first one gone." Like he's going down with it. So at least respect to him in that.
And when you lose 18-16, you can't fire the DC.
No.
You're right. He did not give himself enough scapegoats here. You ain't fired the new special teams guy you hired. The other thing that you see on the film, there's obvious signs of I haven't practiced. There's still obvious signs of DJ Lagway being DJ Lagway, which the interception, guys, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm coaching this wrong. Maybe I'm seeing this wrong. But as long as I have played football, as long as I've ever been in offensive meetings, when we roll the quarterback right and we're got a post working from the right to the left, all right, that breaks off at 65 yards down the field, never ever in the history of football have I ever heard an offensive coordinator say, yeah, that's in the progression. So the idea that a quarterback in his 15th start, 14th start, however many it's been, it's not a ton, but granted, the idea that a quarterback is rolling to his right, we're calling the play for the sail route from the slot receiver to open wide open, and it doesn't open because they cover it. The idea that a quarterback thinks he's allowed to throw that post blows my mind. Blows my mind. And it's the types of mistakes that kid makes that we can't continue to make, especially when we're not hitting wide open receivers, especially when we're not hitting the layups, especially when we're taking jump shots out of the end zone like this, all right, and not hitting them.
Yeah, I mean, look, we said at the start of the 2024 season that Billy Napier's career, or at least his job at Florida, relied on what DJ Lagway can do. And he went 6-0 in games he started and finished, and, all of that exciting stuff in 2024. And we really had a lot of high hopes for Florida coming into this season. We might need to have a serious talk about Billy Napier's job security at this point, because we said DJ Lagway is going to be what carries him, and you can't really fire Billy Napier when you've got DJ Lagway. But if DJ Lagway is not going to produce for you, what's keeping you from letting Billy Napier go at this point?
It's a solid point. I think the fan base has already chopped it.
Yeah,
it's already done.
Yeah.
Who can we go hire? That's where the next point of the conversation goes. I think that's too early. It's too early for this show to be talking about, hey, who's about to get that job?
Yeah,
I think it's too early for that type of conversation. That being said, Jed Fish would be my first call. Hey, Florida fans, I don't know what y'all. I don't know. It's a top 10 job to me, but 11 of the top 10 football coaches have great jobs right now. I don't know who's going to be available for that. That's another reason. Like, we're at a day and age of college football where I think Lagway is promising enough to hope that he fixes what he needs to fix, because he hasn't played, he hasn't practiced, that you can't fire the guy, because if you do, everyone leaves. The best player on your roster, the most promising aspect for 2026 is gone the moment you fire Billy Napier.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to end up at Miami. He's going to end up at Clemson. He's going to end up at LSU. He's going to end up somewhere that isn't on your roster the moment you fire Billy Napier.
Yeah, and I mean, as a Florida fan, I'm not, but like hypothetically speaking, I wouldn't want to watch my team blow up and start over for the fourth time in a decade. I mean, you had to do this with Muschamp, you had to do this with McElwain, you had to do it with Mullen. Like, to do it again with Billy Napier just 3 or 4 years later.
What if Lane calls and says he wants the job?
I mean, I'm seeing John Gruden in the chat, which I don't know, but
the Lane thing, to me, I don't think Lane's leaving Ole Miss.
I think he would have already left.
Huh?
I think he would have already left.
No, and look, this is me being a little bit too forward and a little bit too open about my life. Like, when I hear somebody talk about this, basically thinking or having the mindset that Oxford is a part of the reason I got to sobriety and it saved my life type of conversations, which is the level of conversation he's had about that place as of late. As someone who's gone through that decision of I'm going to walk away from this stuff that I think's hindering me, I don't want to do anything to ever compromise that. And I'm not saying leaving Oxford might compromise that, but he sure talks about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's leaving Oxford. And I don't think Tuscaloosa would ever hire him.
Not as long as Nick
Don't know.
Saban's breathing.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah,
There's a lot of lore to that.
There's a lot of lore to that, and
you can look it up, you'll
We
understand.
actually, it's a good, productive conversation, and I'm okay that we moved it that way. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he leaves Ole Miss for Florida. Also, never been a guy that, like, even when he was at Alabama, they didn't talk about him like he's some elite recruiter.
No.
This guy has never built programs off of I want to recruit at a top 3 level. Like, people that take that Florida job, that's what they should be focusing on. We're going to dominate and recruit the state. We're get it back to a top 10 recruiting basis. I don't think Lane wants to do that. I don't think Lane wants to be on private jets every single weekend. I think he likes the situation he's got at Ole Miss. That's just my take.
Yeah.
All right. What else are you responding from this weekend or thinking about from this weekend? I want your thoughts on this Oklahoma game as they handled Michigan. I thought it was a handling of Michigan, in my opinion.
I think what impressed me most was that Oklahoma came out and made it very apparent that this team is going to go as far, offensively at least, as John Napier carries us. And John Napier was able to deliver a win by playing, I think it's fair to say, hero ball. Like, the plays that he was making, the things that he was doing through the air with his legs, very, very impressive. And to the point of, hey, so long as John Napier is playing like that, this is a playoff caliber roster at the very least.
And that's what he wants to do. That's how John Napier wants to play. And I think that's why, we didn't overlook it, but I think that's why it was such an important thing to talk about how Ben Arbuckle came over to Oklahoma with him, because that OC understands how he needs to use John Napier and how John Napier wants to play. And it's exactly how we described it last week, though, of John Napier is a lot of fun to watch, but you're also going to have some plays where it's like, oh, I don't know if I would do that one. But you could just tell, like, watching that game, like, he's having the most fun playing that style of give me 10 totes, let me carry it for 74 yards, and then also let me throw bombs.
I think my primary take coming away from that football game is that, and we talked about it on the Sunday show, the difference between thinking you know something and then seeing it happen and now you know it. I think that whole organization thought they knew that John Napier was going to be a special playmaker and a real football player and a difference maker and we've got a chance because that guy's at the helm. I think they thought they knew, and now they know. And that does a total different thing for everybody else in the huddle, everybody on the defensive side of the football, everybody on the sideline, everybody in the stadium. When you see it in action, that this guy can single-handedly take over a football game, because I felt like it got to that point. In that football game, it was, Oklahoma's going to win because they got this guy. And they know that now going into the rest of their brutal gauntlet of a schedule. Guys, if they get to 9-3, stamp them college football playoff team, 11-12 seed. I know we got to see what happens the rest of the college football season, but that, to me, they can beat anybody in any given game. I know it's a home game, but that guy's that special as long as he avoids tragic mistakes, which are going to happen.
Yeah, and I was going to say this. The thing I had that worries me most about Oklahoma is when you build your entire success and, hey, we are going to live and die by being able to do this. And when it's built around one player, you're one bad day from one player away from losing. You're one DJ Lagway performance away from losing to USF.
But Kirby, I don't know if they're ever going to be they're not going to be in too many inefficient situations because of the way he can run the football.
This is very true. But again, like you said, he makes the throws where, like, oh my God, 2 or 3 of those. And I mean, it's
especially if they compile.
Correct.
Well, yeah.
So it's something to look out for. That's all I'm going to say, is because he is very special. The playmaking abilities are certainly there. And I don't want to do the comparison, but we said similar things about Jalen Murrow. And then the inconsistencies happen and the bad plays happen and the, oh my God, what are you doing happen. And they lost games because of it.
Oh, I mean, I'll say it. There's going to come a game this season where it's going to look horrible. Like, I think that there's going to come
last year at Wazoo. I mean, I think Idaho put them in a box. There's a box score against a real football powerhouse program last year, mid-major type, that put him in a box.
Yeah, and I think there's going to come a point in time during this conference schedule in the SEC where one of these teams is going to do it, where he's going to have a turnover early on in that football game and he might have another, and it kind of just unravels, because him turning the ball over is not going to stop him from taking these shots and playing the way that he does, and it shouldn't, because you don't want to tell him to stop, but it just could get to a point where it gets real ugly one day.
I was really proud of first of all, you had a tremendous week last week on the takes. My bets were awful, but nonetheless, I was really proud of this show's analysis on that football game. Thought it played out exactly like we thought it would. You saw signs of Underwood's transcendence transcendent talents, but you also saw that Venables put that dude in a box and made him feel uncomfortable as we thought he would. Like, we are firm believers that old Brent Brett is one of the best defensive coordinators that probably college football's seen in the last 2 decades. It's Kirby Smart, it's Glenn Schumann, it's probably old Brent Brett. Like, it's those three that have really dominated the sport, and everybody's picking from them and trying to see what they're doing and then mimicking what they got going on. But his ability to make everybody, including the coach on the sideline, very, very confused is really admirable. Like, you have to watch it and expect it. And we take it into account as they're going to win football games because of it. Now, here's what's scary for Oklahoma, or here's what's scary about Oklahoma moving forward. They got offensive pulse now. Like, they've got defensive, like, scary dudes everywhere going to have great plans for you every week, and offensive pulse. That's playoff bound if they manage the schedule and the guaranteed rock fight that's going to happen at one point for this football team offensively. What did you think about Michigan's game plan offensively and how they called plays in this game? Because I know a lot of Michigan fans that are listening today that probably were a little bit perturbed with it.
I don't think you had many options.
I didn't hate it.
I mean, you were kind of like literally kind of put in a box. I think you're very limited offensively for a lot of reasons because of what Oklahoma was doing, but I think that they weren't offering you much, and so you kind of had to keep it a little simple. I mean, you're on the road as well. You got a true freshman at quarterback. Like, you're trying to do as much as you can, but you can't do too much to the point where you don't even have a chance in this football game in the second half.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think that, and it's a catch-22 anytime you lose, because if you lose, the reason you lost will be X or Y. Whether it was you put the true freshman out there and said, hey, here you go, buddy, go make plays for us, go win us a football game, and you get killed, or you say, all right, we're going to do everything we can to make this as easy as possible for him to run the offense, and you lose a modest game after not really having an explosive offensive attack. Your fans are going to be disappointed either way because you lost.
My take on Sunday was pretty simple. I think Michigan has 4 weapons in this order: Bryce Underwood, Justice Haynes, Marlon Klein, the tight end who is out, so now we're down to 3, and then the wide receiver number 1, Donovan McCulley. And that's really it.
Yep.
And so you go into a football game like that on the road against the defensive coordinator who we just talked about as like one of the magicians in the sport, and trying to, if you try too hard, right? If you try to put too much on that quarterback, he could leave that game with scar tissue. A 24-16 football game in which, by the way, in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left, that's a 1-score football game, and the Oklahoma dude damn near muffs a punt inside his own 5. Like, y'all had a chance with the game plan that you had, which was, let's hope they turn it over and let's lean on the defense in the run game. In that tight football game, I was fine with it because if you try, all right, if you get aggressive, if you put too much on the quarterback, all right, who's young and has no help, you lose that game 42-3 and he throws 4 interceptions. We talking scar tissue is what we're talking about. And we don't need to be having that conversation with a $10 million quarterback who's 18 years old. So I was fine with everything about it. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. We got a lot going on tonight. And I'm seeing a super chub that we need to talk about, or at least I feel compelled to talk about. Caleb Meyer says, Brooks, not football related, but how did you get sober? Okay. So first and foremost, I had a problem. All right. Identification of the problem was very, very important for me. All right. We talk about self-awareness on this channel very, very often. It's something that I believe in. All right. I was having an issue, all right, 5 to 6 days a week of drinking to excess. All right. I realized that, recognized it, and just had one thought one day of, I think I'm going to try to give this up. I've had this thought many a time in my life. All right. Up until this point. And it got to a point about 2 months in where I had a conversation with the Lord, and he put it on my heart and said, look, dude, you got 2 things you need to focus on to maintain your life right about now. One, what you drinking. Like, you just need to give this up and be without it. All right. And the other thing, what you put in your mouth, period. All right. You talk a lot with your mouth, but we need to watch what we're putting in our mouth with alcohol and with food. As you've noticed over the last 2.5 years, the homies lost some weight because we're very, very focused on what we drink and what we put in our mouth with regards to food. I love my life. I love my family. I love the life I built, the career that I have. And it was laid on my heart that to maintain this, we got to give up some things. All right. And those were the 2 things that I had to pay attention to. All right. Whatever you've been placed with, whatever your areas of discipline you need to focus on those. It might be something else. I had a problem with alcohol. All right. And food. And we've put a handle on both of those, and I think my life's been for the better of that, or for that, because of that. All right. I cut your thought off. Are we good?
It.
All right, we're good. Let's move on to the next part. Hey, is Oregon real?
How do you know? It's so early to tell, and you really won't get an answer. That's the frustrating thing about them.
Yes,
I don't know, dude. 69 points in 3 quarters, pretty damn real.
Yes, you did that to a Power 4 team. Yes, that's not a mid-major that you paid millions of dollars to be out there. But I think it's fair to say that the talent on Oklahoma State's roster is quite inadequate to what Oregon's got out there. Doesn't make the win any less impressive, but I'm not willing to declare you as, a stamp this national title contender because of what you did to a team that, let's be honest, sucks.
Yeah, I don't think I'll. And this isn't to discredit what Oregon did this weekend, because, I sat in here while you broke down the film, Brooks. It's very impressive. They look like a really good football team, but I feel like I can't put a firm prediction or firm preview on who I think they are as a football team until they go play Penn State. I just feel like I can't do that, because I feel like that's a disservice to what I would want to say about them.
This feels like people saying Alabama's back because they put up 77 in a shutout against UL Monroe. You looked really, really good from what we saw. Let's see when the real talent and when adequate talent is out there against you. That's all I'll say.
I don't know, Kirby. Them Keelan Russell clips. A dude spinning it.
Looked good. Looked good. Not discrediting it.
I do have film notes, though, because I did watch it. There is a film study on this, by the way. The viewership number totals tell me you didn't watch it. That's okay, though, because we released it right before the show tonight. You get to watch it, all right, after this show. And West Coast bias. SEC Brooks don't cover other teams. Yes, he does. We just watched Oregon today. And the thing I love most about that Oregon tape was the pure raw effort on the film. If you are a person that loves good football and loves high effort, we love ball type stuff, you need to go watch that. You need to watch 2 players specifically. Number 18, who I keep forgetting the name on, we're going to know the name about very, very soon, okay? Nationally, worldwide, because he's going to be a first-round draft pick at the tight end position. He's elite. But what I love most about him, other than just his physical profile,
Kenyon Sadiq.
We're getting the rhythm now. All right, we got nonverbal eye contact over here in the show. It only took 2.5 years, 30 months. We're clicking. All right, but anyways, this guy is a freak. Kenyon Sadiq. He's a real freak. But what I love most about him, raw effort on the tape. This dude is 50 yards downfield, blocking people to the echo of the whistle, flat backing them. All right, they get to a point where not only were they beating the hell out of Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State defenders were pissed off because Oregon was just playing harder. They were almost drawing personal fouls because the muscle hamster, number 27, name please, number 27, the muscle hamster is what we're calling him around here, is the most effort-loving football player I've seen on this network in a fat minute name.
Jaden Lamar.
Jaden Lamar, a.k.a. the muscle hamster, is a beast. We love him. I love him on this network. Not only is he a good ball carrier, they use that damn dude like he's Mike Allstott, like he's a fullback. I love him. I love Oregon's effort on tape. Will they be a playoff winner? I don't know. Will they even be a playoff contender? I don't know. Can they beat Penn State? I don't know. I know they're going to beat the hell out of everybody else on their schedule, though, until they get to Penn State.
Yeah, and that's my entire point of Oregon's going to be fine. They're going to be in the playoffs this year. They're probably going to be in the Big Ten championship again this year. It just is a matter of what do you look like against Penn State, because that's kind of the entire game. That's what everybody's going to make. That's the deciding factor for, I would imagine, everybody about this football team, of what you put on tape against that football team is whether or not people are going to say Oregon is a national title contender going into the playoffs, or Oregon is going to replicate what they've done the past 2 years in the playoff.
Yeah, again, it's easy to look really, really good when you're facing inadequate teams. It's when you can go against the big teams, the teams that are very talented and also pull out wins, is when people really stamp you as legit contenders. It's why everyone had Oregon as the number 1 team going into last year. Not only did they beat the inadequate teams, but they handled Ohio State. They won the games that they needed to. Now, obviously, the playoff didn't go that way, but it's too early. That's basically what it is.
Don't worry, boys. Uh-oh. Nope. Do worry, boys.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Hey, Hey, want to take a quick moment to give a shout out to our friends over at Sleeper, the #1 place for daily fantasy and prop plays. Sleeper Picks is real money product that connects friends over picks. Choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame, live, or even across different sports. Pick more than or less than the predicted stats. On Sleeper, you can get up to 100x payouts today. Share with your friends and get rewarded together. Use promo code Brooks on Sleeper and get 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, that's promo code Brooks on Sleeper. Get 100% deposit match up to $100. Sleeper.com/promo/Brooks. Terms and conditions applies. Boys, we're going to get a pick in right here, right now on the stream. As you can see, my boy Jonathan has already shared my screen. We're going to go over here to picks. We're going to click on college football, and we're going to see what they have available for us today. Let's scroll down here, boys. Let me know if you see anything you like over there, Jonathan. I've been a little bit 0 for 3 right about now. You can get in on the action as well, Kirby. Help me out. Oh, Makai Muse. Hey, anytime touchdown against Colorado. Should we ride a fellow muscle hamster in Makai Muse? I'm thinking so. Give me the more on that one. Let's see here. Let's continue to scroll down. A lot of Colorado players I don't know nothing about, so we're going to avoid that. Try to get some expertise on these picks just a little bit. Let's see here. Looks like they're going to force my hand here. Mr. Daniels, I don't have any information about you. Don't know nothing about you. We're going to take this play right here as a more. Just get in the box for me, Daniels. Give me that play right there. Submit the entry. Appreciate those folks on Sleeper. Again, that's promo code Brooks on Sleeper today. Get 100% deposit match, boys.
It's beautiful.
The chat's noticing my battery life. I like to live on the edge. You know, I'm a guy that likes to live on the edge. I'm gonna drain that battery life until it tells me it's finna die. It might die on me anyways. Boom. I got the lightning fast charger. You know, no problems around here. If it dies, it dies.
What in the world did we just spend the last 15 seconds talking about?
My phone battery. People give me crap because my phone's constantly on the edge of dying.
Yeah.
So you guys know.
So what's wrong with this generation? Always on your phone.
I'm saying, but you know how my phone be all day long. Just all day long. Speaking of all day long, the boy had a long weekend on the picks. Let's try to get better this week. Okay. Ooh. Let's try to get better this week. I'm going to be rocking Teddy 2 gloves for a couple weeks off that both one. Gloves this time. I was 0-7, boys. Yeah. 0-7 against the spread last week. The predictions were solid, though. So let's get into these previews. We got a good slate this weekend, week 3 of college football. Let's start with this South Florida matchup as they head down to Miami. Don't think it's that too far of a drive. They're going to take 2 buses to 2 in-state Power 4 SEC and ACC programs have a potential to walk out with dubs. Boys, will the South Florida Bulls come out with 3 top 25 wins in 3 consecutive weeks against 3 in-state opponents? No, Boise State's not one of those.
Idaho is
Sorry.
not in Florida.
Will they do it?
If they do, should they be the #1 ranked team in the country?
I mean, this is the
Danny Cannell would say so.
I mean, 3 in a row is pretty impressive.
That's
I mean, look,
Cinderella.
I hope, honestly, I don't mean to say this in a way where it sounds like I'm preying on the downfall of Miami, because I'm not. But what I am about to say is I kind of hope they do, because at least I will feel justified that a G5 team that gets this bid deserved it. Yeah. Like, they actually went out there and earned it. If they do, like, end up running the table after this, like, it would feel like these guys freaking earned it. They deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, we've always talked about play real teams, play a tough schedule. You beat a top 15 team, 2 top 15 teams on the road, you're absolutely worthy of being a playoff team. So the guy in me that's like, you know, Cinderella story's never going to happen. You'll never see this in college football. If it were to happen, this is the avenue for it right now. So.
I mean, hot take. If they lose this game by 14, let's say 17 points, no different than Indiana did at Ohio State last year, their resume already, beating a top 25 Boise State and beating a top 25 Florida, is already better than whatever Indiana put together last year.
Oh, this is true.
If they go through their conference record like we think they will and go on to win their conference, and they're an 11-1 team at the end of the year with a lone loss to Miami, their resume is far superior, I would say, to Indiana's a year ago.
I don't.
They're stamped. Yeah. They're a earned, deserved Power 5 or college football playoff team, in my opinion, if that's the case.
And this will be like a legitimate test for what USF wants to do offensively, because Miami's front 4, that defensive line that they have is legit. That was my biggest takeaway from that Notre Dame game. So we're going to find out just how good that run offense is for USF.
I will say this about this football game: if South Florida, if they're winning games no different than Notre Dame did last year. They're elite in situational football. They're elite in the middle eight. They're elite at calling trick plays when they need to. They're elite at they're elite at situational and momentum football. All right, and I know this about this football game. If Alex Golesh gets this game into a fourth quarter one-score game, I trust his decision-making process a whole hell of a lot more than Mario Cristobal. And I know he's on the road, and I know he's outmanned, but they can rock fight this game. They can find a way to middle eight. They can find a way to situational football win. Hell, they just did it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
now they dominated Boise.
Yeah, they only did it.
They dominated Boise, but they lingered around long enough last week. They played that game tight enough, just long enough for Florida to F up, and that's what it was. So I think there's a not a strong chance. There's a likelihood that the same thing happens this week. This game's a fourth quarter ball game, and Miami just makes the blunder because lately South Florida is not going to be the team to do it.
No.
The likelihood of it happening is certainly there. I still wonder if this is the team that South Florida is. I mean, we have 2 weeks of a sample size so far. I'm not ready to say that they're the most disciplined.
Do we though? I feel like I feel like Alex Golesh has 3 years sample size of being a tough ass out.
For sure.
A tough out.
For sure. But Florida didn't lose that game because they couldn't run the football. And I would venture to say that Miami has a better offensive line than Florida does right now. I trust that Miami's probably going to be able to run the football. I think Florida had over 100 yards rushing. I think they averaged 4 yards a carry in that game. So I trust that Miami's going to be able to run the football, force heavy boxes, which will obviously give Carson Beck an ample opportunity to pick them apart. I love the idea of South Florida winning this game. I'm all for the opportunity and the realistic possibility that this could be a rock fight. And like you said, if it does, Mario Cristobal in the fourth quarter. But right now, I think this is something where Miami handles them. I
don't know about handling them. I got Miami by a score. I think they end up winning this football game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say it's probably by multiple scores because what I was about to say is the only bad thing for USF going into this game is everybody knows now. Like, USF beating Boise State in week 1, you're kind of like, oh, well, Boise's just bad this year. Like, they just lost Ash and Genty, so obviously they're not going to be anything. But then you go into the swamp and you beat Florida, a team with DJ Lagway, a team that some people were picking to be in the college football playoff. Now it's like, okay, boys, like, this isn't just some slappy coming into town this weekend. Like, this is a legitimate football team. Like, Miami's going to be amped up for it and alert on all of this.
Yeah, and by the way, this is a Miami team that thinks they have a college football playoff team. That fan base, I know we always, make jokes about Hard Rock. They're going to be a tough environment.
All right, let's move on. Stay in the ACC. Clemson on the road in Atlanta at Georgia Tech. Boys, speaking of being alert and being awake, I think Clemson got a little wake-up call last week. Now, my memory could be served wrong, but I'm pretty sure they had an opening drive score from Troy and then an opening drive field goal and then a pick six for Troy, like bang, bang, real quick.
It was an explosive, a field goal, and then the pick six.
So real bang, bang, down 10-0 at home in a swap fest, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just absolute wet as can be. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm dismissing last week's sloppy performance against Troy, but they righted it, okay? We if you watch the football games, like, we excuse a lot of that most of the time on here, especially when it's a rainstorm and you come out and have a bunch of, like, real unexplainable bad luck mistakes against a undersized opponent and they punch you in the mouth. I think it's almost impressive you pull yourself back up and I think they win 38-10 in that football game or something like that. 37-16. 27-16.
They kept them scoreless in the second half.
It's not all that impressive.
No.
I'm telling y'all, everyone bought this Clemson hype. Do not buy in yet.
Aaron Philo 378 last week. I know, mid-major. How about school record?
Yeah.
Who's playing quarterback this week for Georgia Tech?
I put that in my notes. I said Georgia Tech has something serious to mull over this week. I think that's legitimate. Now, I know that Haynes King does a lot for them in the run game, and he kind of dictates what a defense does, but when you got a guy like Aaron Philo spinning it like that, like, how do you not even think about...
If they can protect him at all, Buster's going to shred.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I know about Buster's passing concepts. If you can protect Aaron Philo, and I know about the passer that Philo is, you can protect him. They're going to throw. But my problem is, I don't know if you.
That's a big if.
That's a big time if.
And at that point, you're kind of running the risk of Aaron Philo goes down with an injury, and then we're kind of hoping that Haynes King makes it through the whole season.
Yeah.
Like, there's some danger with that, but he might be your best shot. And, like, what do you have to lose as a Georgia Tech program right now? If that's your best shot, if this is the best window you've had in 20 years or whatever, why not?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just what type of offensive concepts you get from Georgia Tech in this game. I will also be interested to see what Cade Klubnik looks like on offense, because I got to be honest, I've not been impressed yet. Yes, he's had very, very good moments of consistent quarterback play, and we've talked about how they've looked really good on offense, and he's an NFL quarterback. You can't average 18.5 points of offense through 2 games, especially when one of those games is against Troy and a Blake Baker defense that up until 2 weeks ago no one thought was very good. So I'm concerned.
No one thought was consistently good.
Fair enough. I'm concerned for Clemson's offense. So it's going to be an interesting matchup here.
I would just use Haynes King as a Wildcat player who can throw the football. 3rd and 2.
I mean, that's kind of what he is.
3rd and 2, here comes Haynes.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a 4th and 1 on the 35. Here comes Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got a goal line possession. Here comes Haynes.
Yeah, because, I mean, they've proven that even if you know exactly what they're about to do, they're going to pick it up. Yeah. They're going to find a way to pick up the yards.
Even if you know, like, it's one thing to say, oh, we know they're going to run the ball. Where?
Yeah.
Where?
How?
How? Where? How? Which one? Which one of these 4 options that Buster has given Haynes are we about to get right now on this short yardage situation? And then I would play Philo every other down. It's different than like watching, remember old Blake Bell? They called him the Belldozer with Oklahoma a decade ago. Y'all probably don't remember this.
I don't remember that.
It's different when that guy rolls out there and everybody knows, oh, here comes quarterback power or here comes quarterback ISO. It's totally different when it's, oh, here comes potentially a quad option. All right, with Haynes King coming out on the field. I can't believe y'all don't know the Belldozer. Non-ball knowers on the
Do not recall that one.
It's crazy. And I'm not just placating to Oklahoma fans right about now. Not knowing the Belldozer is a little bit sus, boys. A little bit sus.
I think it's also worth kind of noting that these 2 teams didn't play last year.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest of preps to go against Georgia Tech. You can ask a lot of people. So I think it's a very interesting matchup.
I got Clemson in a sweater.
Yeah, that's about how I see it.
I think so, yeah.
The other thing about playing Haynes King over Philo is you'll shorten the football game.
That too.
You'll limit possessions.
That too.
That defense won't be out there as exposed. So there's reasons to play Haynes. Let's move on, guys. Vandy, after absolutely running it up on Va Tech, catches South Carolina in Columbia this week. I'm going to be honest, I don't know which way to go with this football game. I think what really scares me for South Carolina's purposes is that Diego Pavia is making real plays in the passing game. Like, they're vertical now. They can actually throw the football. They're explosive in the passing department. At least they were against Va Tech. That scares me for South Carolina in this football game. The other thing that scares me about South Carolina, or for South Carolina, they still can't really put the offense together. I know it was a sloppy field. I know it was a 4-hour rain delay out there at South Carolina or Columbia or whatever it was this week out there with the rainstorm that came through the Southeast. Everybody really struggled with it. We just talked about it with Clemson. Lord knows Georgia struggled with it. That being said, I've watched Shane Beamer football the last 4 years. I know they're due for an explosive. Where the hell did that come from? They just beat the hell up out this football team. I'm not predicting that, but I think they're due for it. I think South Carolina's going to come out and play like they're supposed to. So Shane does this every once in a while where it's like, oh, that's what South Carolina could be. Now, next week they might lay an egg again, but I think this week's I'm going to ride the lightning on some South Carolina football. And karma on Vandy's part. Can't be running it up.
It's how they did it. It's how they opened it up last year. They beat Kentucky 28-7, and everybody was like, whoa, this defense is dominant. Lenore Sellers is starting to click. Like, it all looks good. It could be one of those performances, but every passing week now is South Carolina. Like, I take a further step back away from them because everything that I was fearful of for them is coming true. Of the offensive line is still not there. They've already allowed 3 sacks this season, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they rank 120th in the country for that. And they've also allowed 12 tackles for loss this season already in just 2 games. So that offensive line just really isn't holding up. The run game is really struggling. So I have concerns about that. And, like, I don't think that they really have, like, clear weapons still. I know that Nick Harper's been really good for them this season, but I don't think they really know just yet, like, what their offensive identity is with each player. You can throw a go ball to Nick Harper, and there's a, like, 80% chance that he's going to run past the defender and catch it. But I just don't know. Like, there's no consistency here for me. So I'm
just me, or does
taking
he
a further
look
step
too
back.
big?
Nick Harbor?
Yeah.
Oh, he's massive.
I know everybody talks about it, and he is a freak. I know he's probably still really, really fast. But if I'm a corner, does he scare me to stop?
Like stop momentum.
Like when he is running at me full speed, am I worried about him stopping, or am I just going to stay on top of him?
Oh, I would just play over top.
Right? And I feel like he takes a while to come to a stop, is what I'm saying.
Well, he's never been trained to do it, you know?
No.
Never been in his bag.
It looked like he got too big this offseason. And I talked about him, it's great that we spent time playing football. That's awesome. Also, never really been a natural catcher of the football.
No.
But I love him.
Oh, yeah, he's fun to watch.
He's awesome. He's electrifying. He's a freak.
Yeah.
He's awesome. But I think you just got to know his limitations.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Also, I think they obviously missed out Loggins in the passing department.
I mean, yeah.
They're just hoping for individual success. How many naked wide receivers you seen from South Carolina in 2 games?
Not many.
I saw a bunch last year when we studied them. A bunch.
Yeah, I mean, that's been one of their strengths is like, yeah, the offensive line might be questionable, but like at least since like Spencer Rattler was a quarterback there, and even past that though, when in regards to wide receiver, like they've had good weapons. They've had some good wide receivers come through there, and that's not to say that Mazio Bennett isn't good or Nick Harbor isn't good, but I think there is some differences there.
Yep. I'm on South Carolina.
I'll lean South Carolina right now, but I don't say that very confidently.
All right, let's get into our full 2-game predictions. We got Texas A&M and Notre Dame, and we got Florida at LSU. Let's start with the Aggies heading up to South Bend to Notre Dame Stadium to take on the Fighting Irish. Boys, what is the biggest key in this football game?
Boy, they better fit. Texas A&M better figure something out on defense.
Yeah.
Hasn't been great for them. Like they're allowing 140 yards per game right now in the rushing game. Just haven't been as stout as they were in previous years on the defensive line, which you can imagine. I mean, they've lost.
Aggie fans will say they played the 2 best mid-majors in college football.
And that's fair, but I mean, you as an Aggie fan would expect your team to play a little bit better, I would imagine, against a mid-major football team. At least that's what I see from every single college football fan. But also, like, I think Notre Dame's defensive line's got to show me something in this football game. I wish that they would have played another game this past weekend so we got a better look at it. And I know that Miami's offensive line is really talented, but I was kind of let down with Notre Dame's defensive line performance in that Miami football game. I'm going to need some more. Going to see something. Got to have to see something better from them.
To be fair, Jonathan, there's 3 NFL football players on that Miami offense.
And that's what I said. Like, they're very talented. I understand that. But, I mean, Georgia had a bunch of NFL offensive talent too.
Was number 30 out there for Notre Dame? The big, tall, long edge rusher?
Can't remember.
I don't think he flashed.
I've watched so many football games in that.
I feel like so too. Maybe he was hurt. AI, wherever you're at, Google that. What's that? Do we remember that kid's name?
Let me see.
I mean, dude, he was their best special teams player last year. He was their best edge rusher last year, and I felt like I didn't see him.
Yeah, but
in
I mean,
that football game.
I feel like the biggest key that this is going to boil down to is can Notre Dame run the football? Jay will point out Texas A&M has the 83rd ranked rushing defense right now, and you have what everyone
Bryce Young
believes.
is the kid's name.
And when you have what everyone believes is the best running back in the
95
nation right now, and Jeremiah Love. So that's going to be very important for Notre Dame to do this season, and just this game in general. I know that there's been a small sample size as far as the defensive line not looking great. I'm willing to say that might just be Miami's offensive line is that damn good. We only have one game to go off for Notre Dame, so running the football here is going to be the most important for me.
I think the biggest key in this football game, at least for Notre Dame, is whether or not you actually believe in C.J. Carr. And whether or not you call plays like you believe in C.J. Carr. I think they threw the ball beyond 20 yards past the line of scrimmage once in that game against Miami. It got to a point where that Miami defense got to just tee off. They got to walk up and just play aggressive football because they didn't think you were ever going to test them and try them. So once they started taking away the free access throws, and Marcus Freeman not gave away the game plan, but told the national audience the game plan in the sideline interview as they're walking out of the tunnel. We got to get our quarterback comfortable. We got to get him a lot of free access throws. And the entire game was hitches, slants, screens, bubbles. We got to trust this kid. We got to be able to push the ball down the field. And if they're not, A&M's going to walk down and tee off on these guys. I think it's advantage A&M. All right. I think Notre Dame is great. They got to lick their wounds. It was a tight, heavily fought football game on a Monday night. It would have been ideal if y'all had a cupcake last week to get this kid some confidence. Going from Miami, losing a tight one where you make a critical mistake late, to then turning around and playing A&M at home. Tough turnaround for a young football player that needed some confidence. I hope they call offensive plays like they believe in them.
On the flip side, though, I think it's a big test, too, for Marcel Reed. Because despite the fact that maybe Notre Dame's defense looked a little questionable against Miami, they're still strong in the secondary. And we haven't really seen a true test of Texas A&M's weapons, which was a question that I had, and I think some others had about Texas A&M going into this year of, are their weapons going to be legit this year? Marcel Reed has played well for Texas A&M up to this point, but it's a bigger question about, like, are the weapons going to actually be the answer for him this weekend?
Who's your big X factor? For me, guys, it's Torian York, all right? A linebacker I've been talking about for a while since he started as a true freshman. You laughing at the pronunciation of Rourke right there? Yeah, stumbled right over it. Torian Rourke, number 21, the linebacker for Texas A&M. I think he's the most instinctual linebacker in the SEC. The only problem is he's not as physically gifted as the rest of them. All right, it's just fair. He's 5'11", he's 225, 230 pounds, but God, if he don't move first, and Lord, if he don't act first, and Lord, if he don't get everything right? And I think that's the important key against this Notre Dame offense, right? Are they properly fitting the run? If you're not, you're going to get gashed by Notre Dame. And I think Torian Rourke is a massive X factor in this football game.
Yeah, I went kind of the adverse of that. I said Jadarian Price, Notre Dame's running back, is the X factor for this reason. Everyone wants to talk about Jeremiah Love and how important he is. It's kind of obvious based on what we saw last season and what we saw in the Miami game. He's not the bell cow back. He's the home run hitter. He's the guy that can go bust a 90-yard run open for you. But Jadarian Price got the majority of carries in that game.
Are you telling me he's equate version Dwight Phillips? I'm just kidding.
Crazy shot, but...
No, he's the best, most talented back in college football. I just think there must be some deal about his usage or something.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So, I mean, that's why I have Jadarian Price, because I think that if you do have a bell cow back and give you 25 carries for over 100 yards, that's going to be very important.
Yeah, well, we know they're not going to use Jeremiah Love plenty in this football game, so that's a really good pick right there, Christian. For me, I'm going to go up for a Texas A&M offensive player. I think Mario Craver is going to be my X factor in this game. He's been good for them this year so far, and again, I think that one of these wide receivers for Texas A&M has to be a difference maker in this football game. I like the odds that Craver is going to be the guy.
All right, I missed an X factor, or I should say bonus X factor. We expect Notre Dame to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. That's what they do.
Yep.
We expect Colin Klein and this Texas A&M offense to be pretty RPO-y, right? Have at least a game plan revolving around RPOs, particularly on early downs. That could create a major opportunity for Marcel Reed's legs in this football game, because these RPO windows are going to be really, really tight. Okay, so when he does pull the football and Mario Craver is running a slant and it looks like a tight window, number 10's legs now become the option. All right, they become the factor. And I think Marcel could be a major factor as this guy's going to change and flip the field with his legs. Really explosive when he does decide to pull the football down.
Yeah, he is.
Unless it doesn't happen, what you got for me?
You know what? This is the weekend. Jeremiah Love gets 18 attempts this weekend unless it doesn't happen.
Career high in attempts for Jay Love. You heard it here first. Unless it doesn't happen, I'm with you. Riding the Love wagon.
For once, can we please get it? Just once, man. Come on.
Marcus Freeman, must-win football game, baby. Like, you ain't got some conference slate to lean up on. You ain't got no conference championship game to lean up on. You got to go win these games, baby. Feed Jeremiah Love. Come on.
Scoring has been down all across the nation this year, with the exception of a few teams here and there. I think this is another one of these rock fight games that we saw last year. I'm calling it. Neither team surpasses or scores more than 20 points. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Woo! I like the prediction. It makes me want to think about changing my score prediction, because honestly, I don't expect Notre Dame to go into this football game just absolutely 100% trusting the quarterback. Like, I don't think we're going to go out here and see a whole bunch of explosive passing attempts. I don't think they're going to go out here and trust Malachi Fields like I think they should. Maybe they do, but I still think Notre Dame ultimately finds a way to win this football game. Give me Notre Dame in a rock fight, 21-20.
Oh, you're very close to me. I got Notre Dame winning this game 24-20. I think being back in the home environment, kind of what you're saying too, of a must-win football game if we want to continue to keep our college football playoff hopes alive. I like it. I like a Marcus Freeman-led team that has to execute this weekend. I'll take the Irish.
Yeah, I went Notre Dame 2016 here. Very low-scoring game.
Damn. All three on Notre Dame, huh?
Man, sorry, Irish.
No, we haven't made our locks of the week yet.
Yeah, we haven't rated how confident we are.
You're
you know?
right. You're right. We got 4 days to flip our predictions.
That's right.
Plenty of time.
So you got to come back for that on Thursday.
Love to see it. Speaking of love to see it, wouldn't love to see after losing that South Florida game. Hey, let's go to Baton Rouge.
Ooh.
Let's go see Garrett Nussmeier and them boys right quick. Gators.
I imagine.
Hey, don't lick your wounds too long. We gotta go to Louisiana.
I was about to add,
Wow.
I'm sure the Sunday meeting was, boys, we got to go to Louisiana, and don't you dare look at the rest of that schedule. we got business to take care of this weekend.
Horse
And
blinders, boys.
Just
Horse blinders,
focus
boys.
in on me.
Only about the man in front of us right now. Don't look about them other 9 giants standing behind them ready to slay us.
Hey, spot the ball.
Spot the ball.
Spot the ball, baby.
Spot the ball.
Man, they haven't heard those tweets in a while.
How you get up off the mat right here, boys? You know?
Is it better just to stay laying down?
I guess.
Never.
Just don't get up.
Don't worry. There's a bye week soon.
Hey man,
Like,
hey man.
you know?
Notre Dame lost to NIU this year. They're going to turn it around.
That's
Everything
the
will be
that's the
fine.
spin. That's the spin. Notre Dame lost to NIU last year, boys. And they got to play Virginia and Purdue the next 2 weeks.
That's right.
That's
right.
the difference.
Ooh man, this is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, man. Biggest key.
Oh, I've created a new rule for Florida because I spent this entire offseason.
Did
Billy
lightweight
Napier.
practice? Is that the rule?
No. I was trying to do you some good, Billy Napier, this offseason by talking about, everybody wants to talk about DJ Lagway, but talk about the running back room. Talk about how good those guys are. Talk about Jaden Baugh. Talk about Jacoby Jackson. And so there is a rule now for me, Billy Napier, that you are not allowed to leave a football game without giving Jaden Baugh 23 carries a game, at least. Give that man. He's the best offensive playmaker that you have. Use him. He's the most consistent playmaker that you have. Use him. So you have to give this man at least 23 carries a game now.
Look, for as great as Garrett Nussmeier has played and as much of a step forward as we think that LSU offense has taken, they're 100th in the nation in points per game right now. And it's because they're -2 in the turnover margin. So the key to this game is, can LSU take care of the football and keep Florida out of having, fortuitous situations and be able to score points? I mean, look, turnovers are the ultimate killer of any team, any drive, any offense. And I think that if Garrett Nussmeier and LSU in general, I know they've had a couple of fumble issues. If you can't take care of the football, you're going to be in deep trouble no matter what team you're playing.
Chat wants me to apparently face the music on my Darian Mensah take. Sir, he had 23 completions for 334 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm a box score scout that one and tell you, he ain't the problem. I'm right. It's Duke's fault, not mine.
Man,
It's on the rest of it. It's everybody else's fault, not Darian Mensah's, and not my take's fault. Next segment.
Is this like alternate universe Hugh Freeze?
Basically.
The quarterback's great, but everybody else sucks.
Basically.
Yeah,
It's everybody's fault but mine.
All right.
Biggest key in this football game by far between Florida and LSU is whether or not Lagway practiced all week. That's it. Did he practice? Advantage LSU significantly, because probably not.
Yeah.
Who's the X factor, boys?
It's Billy Napier.
Ooh.
And I know that
all
he's
right,
not going to
all
have
right.
any on the field plays, but the in-game discipline, the late-game decision-making, the play calling that we've seen through the last 2 weeks has been questionable at best, and it's led to you having a 1-1 record when you haven't played a Power 4 opponent yet. So I think Billy Napier and what he can do to, 1, motivate this team, 2, get them under control discipline-wise, and 3, make sufficient play calls to actually get this offense rolling. I know that DJ Lagway has the ultimate say in whether or not they score points, but Billy Napier needs to help that offense out the best he can.
For me, it's Caden Durham. I think that he was a very good weapon for them in that Clemson game. I thought he was a major player in them winning that football game as well. This past weekend, though, against Louisiana Tech, he only had 2.2 yards per carry. Kind of one of the concerns that I had about LSU going into this year is the rushing offense. I think you got to get back to that. Get back to getting that guy some more touches and getting him up into open space. He's my X factor.
X factor for me is Jaden Ball for the same reasons you talked about. It seems like everybody in the world knows that Jaden Ball is Florida's best player, but Billy Napier and the Florida staff, every time he touches it, it's positive results for the offense. Every time he's on the field, it's positive results for the offense. He's a sophomore. He will be the biggest running back attraction if Billy Napier ultimately gets fired. There's no doubt about it. X factor to me. Also, random stat to be thrown into the middle of this football game. Guys, did you know over the last 6 seasons of this matchup being played, LSU is averaging 40 points per game?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, big dog. They rack it up against Florida. Every time these two teams play, LSU is scoring massive amounts of points, except for last year when somehow, some way, Florida's defensive line created like 9 sacks in this matchup. So Florida better get ready to score some points because this one isn't in Ben Hill Griffin.
Last 4 matchups, you said, right?
Last six, they're averaging 40 points per game.
Oh, so this was, you got Joe Burrow twice. You got Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Okay. That gives it a little bit better of a...
And now you get in year 2 nuss.
I get it. Like
on the road after one of your most pivotal losses in the Billy Napier era.
Still very much going to need to score points in this game, but there's also, I think, it's worth noting that there were 2 Heisman winners playing against you.
Man, what's up with you curtailing my takes?
I'm just giving...
They might have another Heisman winner this year, Kirby.
What's up with you adding dialogue? What's up with you adding facts? Don't nobody want that.
Sorry.
Don't nobody want that.
I thought that was kind of my job, but I guess I'll be quiet.
Good job.
I think that an interesting thing for me from last week, as I just said, like maybe Garrett Nussmeier is a Heisman winner this year. He was 26-41 last week. Got to get him redialed back in because week 1 showed like, oh, the old Nuss is gone. And I didn't see the old Nuss in week 2 against Louisiana Tech. He wasn't turning the ball over or anything like that. But got to get him redialed in a little bit in this week. And I think you got a big opportunity to do that.
Unless it doesn't happen, what if this Florida team is Alabama from a year ago? What if they're completely unpredictable? What if one week they're the best team in the nation or good enough to beat anybody? What if the next week they're dog poo-poo and spit on somebody to lose a football game? Basically, what if they're the same exact football team they were basically last year?
That could very well be the case. I could see that. Is that your unless it doesn't happen?
That's it. I don't think it's going to happen. But I don't know this football team. I don't think I can predict the quarterback. The quarterback might come out Saturday and look like a god back there.
Yeah, he could.
But I don't predict it.
I think Florida gets held to less than 10 points in the second half.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's my unless it doesn't happen. You heard it here first. They look sloppy in the final 30 minutes. That's what I'm calling it.
Ooh.
What do you got for me, J-Will?
DJ Lagway has 2 turnovers.
Nah, that's not bold.
Okay, well, sorry. That's what I have for you.
I think this game's going to look exactly like Florida's trip to Austin last year, where they get absolutely obliterated in the first half, and then it's just like, we let them back in a little bit late.
Your way back.
I don't know. Yeah. That seems a tad disrespectful, man. They had a walk-on quarterback playing that day. I mean, DJ Lagway did look great last week, but...
I'm talking like 28-7 at the half.
Oh, man.
Just jump on them.
Man. Hop on Twitter at halftime of that game then. Oh, my gosh.
I got final LSU 31-20.
Buddy, you don't think Florida fans are rooting for that?
Yeah,
I think Florida fans' biggest nightmare is this guy goes 7-5 and they keep him. I think it's the biggest nightmare.
Because
the average Florida fan that watches the show or pays for tickets ain't the one who has to tote the bill on that buyout.
But like the fan base has been rooting and hoping for the DJ Lagway to work out and pan out for them. That's what they're rooting for. They may not be rooting for Billy Napier's success, but they want to have everybody else to tell them that they were right about DJ Lagway. But I have LSU winning 37-27.
You already did yours?
31-20.
Hey, we got a whole nother hour coming up right now, and it is our best hour. Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog?
grab some tape.
Right in the shot, man. What are you doing?
Are we back?
Yeah.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back for another hour here on the Film Guy Network. It is our local hour. We got a loaded one for you. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. I've got film notes for you, offense and defense. We got game balls to give out. I've got what to expect notes. I got a defensive film study coming tomorrow on this Tennessee defense. I'm going to preview it tonight for you. We got predictions in store as well tonight. Don't feel great about making these predictions this early, but you know how it is. The business is the business, and we got to get to that algorithm. I got to rush to it. And look, I don't write the rules. I don't write the algorithm. You can blame it on YouTube. I'm going to feel uncomfortable the rest of the week. The idea that I picked this game on a Monday, but we're going to do it anyways. And you know what, guys? I don't feel all that uncomfortable about it now that I said it, because I got a rule about this matchup, and y'all know what the rule is.
I was going to say,
I got a firm, hard, fastened rule that makes this prediction nice and easy for me.
Did you say hard flaccid?
Hard fastened.
Oh, I thought you said
hard
flaccid.
fastened.
It's like, that's an oxymoron.
Hard flaccid, oxymoron.
Yeah.
Moron
It's true.
Here we go. Let's get to work. But before we do that, I got a local ad read for you guys. I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Bill Thompson Tire Service. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're anywhere near Albany, Georgia, come on, walk over here, lock in right quick. We got to talk about Bill Thompson's Tire Service. Family owned and operated, serving Albany, Georgia for over 50 years. Come see Billy for all your automotive and tire needs, or call him 229-435-7753. Again, that's 229-435-7753. Mention this ad to either Kathy or Billy at the shop, and they'll put you in a monthly drawing for a collapsible UGA cooler, up to a $50 value. One entry per person, and go Dogs. You got to pay me to say that, but I will. You got to pay me to say that, but I will. I will if you put it in the ad read that I am contractually obligated to read.
Ooh.
Boys, I nailed that read like split hog. What y'all got for me on this local hour? What you want to start
I
with?
think we should start with this super chat because it's actually pretty pertinent.
Okay, well, you start on that. I'm going to the bathroom.
Go ahead. This from Georgia Mud. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
I've been a serious college football UGA fan since 2012. I never really watched the game because I was watching Friday film.
I assume he's a high school.
Yeah, high school football coach. But my question to J-Will and Kirby is: Have we as UGA fans always been this obnoxious and unrealistic, or is this recent success?
It is a little bit of both. I think Georgia fans have always had the propensity to complain about things. I think they become much, much more nitpicky with the recent success. I mean, if you had a quarterback 10 years ago, pre-Natties, when you were, with
You mean David Green?
Well, that's like 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
That's like 25 years ago almost at this point. But if you had a quarterback that was consistently throwing, not turning the ball over, playing winning football for you, yeah, everyone been like, we love this guy. He's incredible. Now it's like, he's not making the right reads. And I think social media has also sped this up a little bit.
Two things. I don't want to be get off my lawn guy, back in my day guy. But for real, in 2005, the idiot that thinks he knows football didn't have a place to give his opinion. Okay, so David Green was beloved, all right? But 20 years later, the same football player, just right-handed, like Jake Fromm and David Green are the Spider-Man meme. They just, one's a left-handed and one's a right-handed Spider-Man. Like, they're the same guy. Jake Fromm got booed his last home game against an SEC opponent. Booed off the field because he only won 20-6. David Green won lots of games 20-6. Lots of them. And is one of the most beloved football players that Georgia's ever had. That's the difference
and
to me.
And meanwhile, there was a extremely talented backup behind him.
Yeah, same situation.
Now,
same exact situation.
Now, there were a lot of people that also said we want to see DJ Shockley, but you didn't have the opportunity for your voices to be heard as much. So I think
correct. It's two-pronged.
Yes.
I think that for me, it's just been, I think it's what you got at of, I think social media has really exposed a lot of this. But I mean, college football fans are irrational. Like, that's just how it is. Like, sports fans are irrational about a lot of things, and especially when your team has had a lot of success and like the highest amount of success in back-to-back years, that just becomes the expectation. Like, we should always look like that because Kirby Smart's the best coach in college football. We should never look bad at any moment at any portion of the football game. We recruit at a top 5 level every year. Like, that's just what you expect as fans. So when things don't look that way, it's an outrage because it shouldn't be that way in your mind. It should never look the way that it did maybe this past weekend. But then I also turn and look at the fact of the starting quarterbacks that Kirby Smart has had, only one of them has been liked. And so I think that you got like just like a portion of a bad bunch of, there's a bad bunch of fans, and then the other portion is good too.
Look, like, I got labeled this guy who was like policing fandom because I did get a little harsh Sunday during the reaction show because honestly, I'm just kind of tired of it. I mean, I feel like I get berated with nothing but the toxicity of immediate, we suck, he sucks, he should go to hell with him, fire that guy. Like immediately. As soon as anything starts to struggle or any type of adversity starts to arise, the immediate action is to hell with this guy. We suck. Get rid of him. I also am really, really frustrated at the idea that everyone just assumes Kirby's an idiot. That's the craziest thing to me. Everyone just assumes, oh, he just buddies with Bobo. He sucks. We need to get rid of this guy. Kirby's an idiot. Get over yourself. Like, what? Who y'all talking about? Who y'all out here talking about? They talk about the guy like he's an 8-win football coach sometimes, and that's what drives me nuts. Because I watch other football teams. I see how bad it is other places. And y'all just got it so good. And again, it's not our people. It's just the loud ones. And I don't want my platform to ever be allowed for those people to have voices moving forward. That's just not going to happen. So that's what I went on my rant all about. So there's that. Ooh, man. Shout out to Georgia Mud. We run in the same circles. I'm not a coach. I actually blocked Big Red Carswell for 6 years from middle school to high school. Shout out to you, Brooke. Shout out to Shorter. Shout out to Grayson. That means you a Warner Robins folk. Not to place you or let people know where you're at, but shout out to the folks down there in Warner Robins. If you was catching them in middle school and high school, I'm sorry. I caught him in college when the knees were already hurting him. I couldn't imagine catching that kid at 17. My God. I was scared of him. I told y'all about D'Angelo Brown. ADD is going rampant right now. Remember I told y'all the story about D'Angelo Brown taking my soul in a state championship game? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm on the sideline this weekend, and I see a very familiar face. We dap up, we give hugs, and he looks at me and goes, "Did you play at Landmark?" And I immediately go, "You're not D'Angelo Brown, are you?" And he's like, "Yep." And I'm like, "Oh, no, man, you're my nemesis. I have had nightmares of you for years." And we had that whole thing again. Anyways, I got defensive film notes for you. You want them?
Let's hear them.
Let's get into them. First and foremost, lots of ice baths and ibuprofen on that tape. My God, they hunt the football. So happy again to watch Georgia football film. I can't tell you how juiced I am every Sunday night to know, oh my God, I get to watch these dudes hunt the rock again. My Lord, I get to turn on this tape because they are fast, they are physical. Every single week, I get to watch it. Honest to God, I think you're good enough. And we're going to talk about as we get the rest of this. I know y'all are concerned about Gunnar. We're going to talk about that. I think Georgia football is good enough to run the ball and play defense to 10 or 11 wins this year. I do. And here's all the reasons why. 90. My God, is Elijah Griffin a really, really good football player. We said it on the stream today, or on the film study today. That kid is 90% of Jalen Carter without the bull spit. Literally, without the bull spit. That kid is 90% of Jalen Carter without all the nonsense. You know what else comes with this? That dude plays hard every snap. Jalen knew when to turn it on, still does. Jalen knows when to take over games and shut everything down. The rest of the time, he's just kind of there. He's just kind of floating around. Not Elijah Griffin. Elijah Griffin might not be 100% of Jalen Carter, but on every other down, he's just as good, if not better. First step might be better. That first step is elite. We never talked about first steps with Jalen. In fact, we talked about how he might be the strongest human being alive. Elijah's got some of that and a first step. Love what 90s put on tape through 2 games. I think Quintavious Johnson's going to be a first-round draft pick. Top 45 lock. Okay, top 45 lock. Here's the great thing about him. He's 6'5". He's 260 pounds. He was good enough to be a high school quarterback, good enough athlete to be a high school quarterback, great enough athlete to play jack, play in space, do all that good stuff. I love his football intellect. I have always liked his football IQ. He knows what's happening in front of him. He knows his responsibilities. He's always in the right spot. And he's a freak. All those combinations are great things for Georgia moving forward with him playing a lot of snaps right about now. No false steps on that guy. So it's a big theme on our defensive film study this week. No false steps by these humans. They're really, really great athletes. They're never in bad spots. Ellis Robinson's interception is an exact example of that. Right? Getting stuck, seeing the ball, never taking a wasted step. The Chris Cole sack was an exact example of that. Who is my next note? Number 9 is a very, very special football player. Not even like gonna be special, is special, already special. A lot of people doing the Quay Walker stuff. To me, better. We've talked about it on this network. It took Quay 4 years to learn football. Chris Cole is playing football free already as a 20-year-old sophomore. Elite football player. Speaking of his counterpart, though, Justin Williams, I love that he's in the right spot. I think you saw this on the film study with us today. In the right spot, we're going to have to put some weight on. We've fallen back a lot. We're absorbing a lot of contact because we're not big enough yet. But I love that we're in the right spots. That's the good news about what 19's putting on tape right now. I think Jonell's got to calm down a little bit in coverage, especially going into this week against Tennessee, when they're going to test you not just in your coverage ability, but they're going to test you downfield with the ball in the air. They're going to test you panic, basically. Do you panic? And if you panic, you're going to get hunted often against Tennessee. I saw some panic in Jonell this week in coverage. We got to calm that down going into next week. That being said, loved his run game instincts. Thought he was really, really impactful both in the run game and the extension of the run game. Really hard to run screens against Georgia because 8's really, really physical, as most stars are at the University of Georgia. I thought it was a big-time game for Kyron Jones. Thought it was nice and important and major importance. We talked about it going into the game. Wanted to see him show up. Wanted to see 31 flash a little bit. Thought he went through the first week not really making an impact on the game, both positive nor negative. All right, didn't have any negatives this week, but made some big-time tackles. Can't wait to see what happens when he actually gets a hand back. I think that'll be important for Kyron Jones this year. Number 52, Kristen Miller plays physical. He plays selfless. He plays clean. Technically sound. Love what 52 is putting on tape this year. All right, he's playing sound football while Zero's playing lunatic football. Zero is just battery ramming bullcrap everywhere. All right, he is just hunting with FPE and winning with FPE. And I think they just make him the poster child. Him and Joshua Horton. Have you seen what 81's? If they ain't talking about 81's tape and 81's effort, they ain't watching tape. Because 81 is all over the tape with, damn, buddy, you ain't got to be running that hard. The hell I don't. I do have to run this hard. I know I ain't getting there. I know there ain't no way in hell I'm going to make this play, but I'm going to run this hard. 81, we see you around here. Okay, Joshua Horton playing with fire, passion, and energy. Coverage, really sticky. Really sticky. I know it's Austin Peay. I know, but they were trying switch releases. They were trying rubs. They were trying man beaters. They were trying mesh returns. Real sticky.
That mesh return that Dalen covered on, I don't know if it was fourth down or third down.
A little bit of a hold.
Got away with a little bit. The fact that he stayed with him was very impressive.
Yep,
that was
especially to have seen it once.
Fantastic man beater.
Yeah, to not have seen that, not have practiced that, get it because Miami won with it, and then you get it in the middle of a game and you lock it in step. You're right. It was very, very sticky coverage all week. Last 2 weeks, I felt like, from these corners. Honestly, watching their offense from Austin Peay, I thought it was a relatively good prep. One of those games that we're going to come back and look at for that Auburn matchup. They were running a lot of jets motion. They were running a lot of quarterback stuff. They were running a lot of RPO stuff. Running a lot of hey, we've got to be gap sound and gap aligned and responsibly sound as we're attacking all of these multiple threats.
I think that the thing that needs to be reminded about this defense too is we talk some of the names that you rattle off are first year players, second year players, guys that are still very young football players, which also means that they're just going to continue to get better every single game. And that, the beauty of you didn't get to play as many bodies as you probably wanted to against Austin Peay, but you're so talented defensively that those guys are playing anyways, and they're getting a lot of reps already, and they're just going to continue to get better and better and better.
Should I do it?
Why not?
I don't know what you're about to do.
If Georgia gets A+ quarterback play, like I'm not A-. If they get A- quarterback play in between this statement right now today, September 8th, 2025, and the 2027 end of college football season, if they get winnable quarterback play, really good quarterback play, they will win another national title. This line of scrimmage and this box has so many future first-round draft picks that it reminds me of what it looked like. I know I'm getting ahead of my skis here. I know they played 2 tomato cans, all right? But I think I know for a fact Juan Gaston's going to be a first-round draft pick. I think I know for a fact Monroe Freeland's going to be a first-round draft pick. I think I know for a fact Chris Cole's going to be a first-round draft pick. I think I know for a fact KJ Bolden's going to be a first-round draft pick. I think I know for a fact they got 4 NFL corners right about now. You see what I'm getting at? Like, we're getting back to the point where I look at Georgia on tape and I'm like, NFL, 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 NFL. And guess what? Most of the premium blue chippers are underclassmen. They going to run the ball and play defense to 10 or 11 wins this year, I think. That's what I think about them. Let's talk about the offensive film. Sorry. I know I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but I feel that way. Now, let's talk about the offensive film. Run game display. On display, everything about it. The depth was better. How they were attacking slants. How they were absorbing what Austin Peay was throwing at them. And they threw the kitchen sink. They threw every run game stunt that you will see the rest of the year. And you caught it all. You caught it all. And not only that, you caught it and then you finished, right? You absorbed whatever the mess and junk they were throwing at you and you finished. And it was a total different football team versus stunts this year on tape than what I've seen in years prior. I love the fact that Drew Bobo had a shake back game because I was concerned for my rightness. I was concerned for my rightness watching that first game from Drew Bobo. We showed up and showed out in this one. The football IQ on that kid, really, really, really high. All right, really, really high, and I'm glad it showed back up on tape. Speaking of football IQ, Dontrell Glover, absolute freak. He's going to be borderline top 45 by the time it's done. And I seen 12, like the first 6 snaps of 63 on tape this week were like, wait a minute. Oh, he got here in July? Who is that? What is happening right here? He was so flawless. All right. Told you already, texted sources immediately as soon as I watched the film. It said, Donnie Glover, debut. My God. Immediate response. Highest graded offensive lineman of all. All right. Of all in the game. Elite game 1 performance from him. All right. Because he didn't get to play last week for some reason. I don't think. Did he play week 1?
I can't remember.
I don't remember seeing him on tape. Don't remember watching him, but it was elite. Monroe Freeland had another great game. Told you, I think he's playing first-round football. You're going to hear Joe Alt comps. It's going to happen. Big white tackle that's athletic, got yoga background. He going to get the Joe Alt. So just know that. And I think he's playing that good, by the way. I think Michael Unai's got some Xavier trust in him, but with like a really high ceiling. You know how Xavier always just played hard, but seemed like he was just playing over his skis a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
That's what's going on right about now with Michael Unai. Love what Bo Hewley's continuing to put on tape. I think it's promising. Josh Jackson, buddy, here's what I told somebody the other day. And it's not your fault, okay? It's not your fault. It's a byproduct of everybody else. When there are 21 players on film playing with fire, passion, and energy, the one who ain't sticks out like a sore thumb, okay? And when we allow quarterback pressures because our feet die and our hands stop and we're just not playing to the echo of the whistle, that's not allowed really anymore. It's not allowed anymore, all right? So that's going to have everybody showing film of that. Not the film guru, not the film guy. All right, everybody's going to see that one, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. I think that's good news, though, for everybody else. I think it's really, really good news. The idea that we had one loaf, basically, one loaf, and it stuck out like a sore thumb. That shows you what the standard of effort is right about now on this football team. Last year, I don't think that one sticks out so damn bad as it did this week, but everybody saw it. Everybody pointed to it. Everybody can see that. That needs to be fixed. I thought Chauncey Bowens earned some damn snaps on Saturday. My God. I thought Chauncey Bowens was the biggest bright spot of that football game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I thought the effort from Colby Young after the catch was inspiring. I love the run game tape. We already talked about it. The pass protections. Let's talk about that. I thought Michael Unai gave up a pass protection because we were late to get out of our stance. We already talked about Jaw Jackson's pass protection rep that gave up a pressure. And Micah Morris gave up a pressure on what we're calling failure to collect your work. Those are 3 pass protection failures in which the quarterback was finally trying to drive the ball down the field. We got this real disconnect right now in our deep passing game at Georgia between a quarterback who's finally trusting himself, and the moment he does, he's getting hit. And quarterbacks finally clean, pass protection's clean. Now quarterback doesn't trust himself. We got to find some unity, or else we're going to lack explosivity in a football game this weekend that I think is going to require some explosivity. Now, let's have the Gunnar conversation. All right. We watched they took 65 snaps on Saturday, something like that. We watched all of them on the film, all right? And he had, I think, 30 dropbacks or something this weekend.
Yeah, it was along the lines of that.
We had five obvious clips where, hey, if you don't throw that football in a tight football game when we need to score, we are losing, son. We're going to lose if you don't pull the trigger, all right? There were 5 plays there. Now, the good news, none of those 5 plays ended in tragic moments. All right. None of them. And Kirby said this today. We were never in 2nd and 20 unless Dylan Bell caught a tipped pass out of bounds. And then the next play forgot to catch the guy in front of him who was his responsibility to block. So now it's 3rd and 20. Okay. Apart from that, y'all were a really positive and efficient offense because he's at least playing on time. That's the good news. All right. And I think that's the best news about what we've seen through 2 games. This kid is not playing frantic. He's not playing late. He's got his eyes in the right spot. He just doesn't trust himself just yet. All right. And I just told you, I think your line of scrimmage and your defense and your weapons, everything about this football team tells me as long as the quarterback doesn't turn the ball over ad nauseum, as long as they don't, put themselves at risk, y'all can win football games with running the ball and playing defense to the tune of 11 wins. Now, if he gets confident, if he's able to hit these deep shots, if y'all do become explosive in the passing game, you got a national title winner. What I think would be, not malpractice, but what I think would be totally outside of par for the course for a Kirby Smart football program would be to look at this defense, look at this run game, look at these weapons and say, hey, let's just hope the young guy doesn't turn it over. When everything we've heard about Puglisi in practice so far is that he does indeed turn it over in practice. So you ride this thing out. You hope that the quarterback gets comfortable and gets confident, and you're going to win 10 games in the process, in my opinion. That's what I would do.
I'm not going to do the thing because obviously they are 2 very, very different types of quarterbacks. But this is eerily similar to the conversations we were having about Carson Beck back in 2023, where it felt like, man, he's doing a lot of the things right. We really like where this is going, but he just doesn't seem like he's ready to uncork it yet. Yeah. And when he does feel like he is, he'll be a very, very good quarterback. It seems like we're having the same discussions with Gunnar Stockton. And I pulled the numbers. They're basically the same quarterback throughout the first 2 games. 69% completion for Gunnar, 72 for Carson, 503 total yards for Gunnar, 606 for Carson, 4 total touchdowns for each, 1 interception for Carson, 0 interceptions for Gunnar. So it's very obvious that they were both quarterbacks that are trying to play on time, do everything right, and not make the catastrophic mistakes. So I can't complain about what you're seeing from Gunnar Stockton right now. Obviously, there is I would like to see some more, exciting deep balls. And yeah, a 40-yard touchdown bomb would excite everyone in the crowd and get people to say, oh, we've got a really great quarterback now. But if Gunnar Stockton is going to consistently win you football games or win you drives or win you plays with what he's doing, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Here's my whole thing with Gunnar is the fact that you did watch him play for a half against Texas and you watched him play for an entire game against Notre Dame, and he made those throws. You have seen him do it. So it's not like that Gunnar is making his first career starts these past 2 weeks and you have no idea what he's capable of because this is all you've seen for the past 2 weeks. So, I guess my little theory is that, maybe he just needs that game switch to turn on. And maybe it wasn't, maybe it doesn't get clicked on for Marshall or for Austin Peay. But maybe when you have to go on the road against a team like Tennessee, maybe that gamer of Gunnar Stockton comes out. Because that's what I saw against Texas and against Notre Dame. It just doesn't seem like he's been playing that way the first 2 weeks.
Dale, I want to address this. I don't do a lot of looking at the chat unless it's Super Chubs, but I want to address this because I've seen this narrative. Brooks, what do you see the difference from Gunnar now and last year? Guys, Texas was a zone match football team that played a lot of funky stuff. He did not throw the football very well against Texas, did he?
No, it wasn't great. He had a couple good throws.
Correct. But most of the quote-unquote Gunnar has regressed stuff comes off of what he did against Notre Dame. All right?
Yeah.
And everything Notre Dame did was what I think Tennessee's going to do to you this weekend, honestly, is play a lot of man-to-man coverage, which allows him to really trust one-on-one opportunities and throw into, like one-liner balls, right? Back shoulder fades, deep balls, comebacks, hitches, slants. Things like this where he can throw things into not windows, not zones, not anticipatory throws, not, hey, let's read this. If we don't like this, we're going to know. If he wins, throw it to his face. He's great at that stuff. That's why he looks great in those opportunities. It's why I don't think defenses are just going to be able to walk down and play man-to-man because he threw for 260 against Notre Dame with Dylan Bell as his ex-receiver. And Colby Young's his ex-receiver now. All right. And if you think you can walk down and play man-to-man coverage against the slot receiver and blitz this guy and get home, now guess who's winning on an option route? Zachariah Branch. It's totally different. All right. So, yes, he looks relatively uncomfortable right now against drop 8 coverage. He looks really uncomfortable right now against drop 7 coverage, zone coverage, which is a ton of what they got this weekend. Now, the 2 or 3 reps we saw this weekend of actual Meg coverage, which again, this is what cracks me up because most people that are like, again, I do too much of that. Meg coverage. Hey, we actually got man coverage over here. Guess what happened? Noah Thomas, 3rd and 8. Here's a hitch. Bam, right on your face. Oh, we got man coverage in the red zone. Here's a fade ball to Colby Young. Right in his fingertips. Great ball, great spot. Should be caught. Wasn't. It's going to be okay. I just need him to trust things. What I can't have is a young quarterback go out and throw 15 interceptions in a year in which we all believe, watching that defensive tape, that's a top 5 defensive unit. We can't spoil that, ever. We can't ever spoil a top 5 defense with, well, I hope the young guy figures it out. No, I hope the guy who's adding into the run game gets a little bit more confident.
And by the way, this would be a much more pertinent discussion if when Gunnar Stockton didn't throw the deep ball, he was getting sacked. Or when Gunnar Stockton didn't throw the deep ball, it was an incompletion or things like that.
No, you're in 2nd and 4.
You're just mad because it's a check down when, yes, a dig opening up a half second later was open in 15 yards. I get it. There are yards left on the field right now with Gunnar Stockton. But you're not turning the ball over and you're not playing behind the schedule ever. So I don't see what the complaint is about. Things will be figured out as time progresses. Give him time.
Yeah, I understand why people are maybe a little upset from Saturday and maybe why they have some concerns. I can understand that. It was not Georgia's best game. It didn't look like the typical Georgia that you would want to see. What I don't understand is how you could watch Saturday and think that Gunnar Stockton needs to be benched or that you need to go to another option at quarterback because all he did, and I said it on our walk and talk of that offense moved the ball the entire game. The only thing that was ever stopping them from moving the ball was 2 fumbles, and then there was a drive with a couple of penalties that pushed you back and you had to punt the football. You walked it down them the entire game. You just had some dumb moments where it cost you some points. That was it. But Gunnar didn't cost you really any points.
Yeah, if the 2 fumbles don't happen, it's and if ends,
yeah,
buts, candy, nuts, whatever nonsense. It's 42-6. Nobody's really complaining, I don't think.
No.
Except for the people who actually, there are turndowns. It has nothing to do with the fumbles. We are a can't have turndowns network because we believe in explosive metrics.
Yep.
And it's going to hinder you if you keep doing this. There's no doubt that we're obviously acknowledging the limitations, all right? But there's a difference between acknowledging the limitations and just assuming that Kirby doesn't know what he's doing. Right? And that's what you're doing. When you're like, oh, we need to play the backup. No, you're just assuming. Right? You're assuming that you know more, right? He has a little bit more information. And here's what I do. What I try to do is explain to you, how do we get around this, right? How do we coach around these, inefficiencies or limitations rather, right? A lot of people asking about the throw mechanics, right? A lot of people asking about the throw mechanics. They've coached things up to make that a little bit more alleviated. Watch the film. Look at how he's having to throw these screens to his right. Look at how hard they've coached it up. It's been improved, but he is what he is. All right. I think the other thing about this past week against Austin Peay, it was very clear to me he was not allowed, not allowed to run the football, but he didn't keep the football.
No, that's what I was going to say too. It's like
you did not keep the football.
Yeah, you did
we
not.
We can't have you banged up going into next week. We can't. Hey, let's actually get into the film notes. I watched Tennessee's defense today. We're skipping game balls. Sorry. Offense, Donnie Glover. Defense, Kyron Jones. Team, special teams, Brett Thorson. What do you got?
I got Chauncey Bowens, Elijah Griffin, and then I guess Brett Thorson.
Hell yeah.
I went Colby for offense. Who did I go for defense? I don't even remember. I went Zachariah Branch for special teams because he actually had a pretty decent kick return.
Oh, my God. Did you notice they were nose down punting him the entire game?
You pointed it out to me, yeah.
They nose down punted him the entire game. Guys, if you know ball, nose down punting is only for coffin corners. That's it. Or if you're petrified of the other dude that's returning punts.
And I had Ellis on defense because, you get your first pick, you get a game ball.
All right, here's Tennessee defense and what to expect. Guys, through 2 games, I've seen a couple teams trying to hunt Jeremiah Thielander. Playing a lot of man-to-man coverage, which means somebody's got the back in the backfield. And if it's number 7, they're good. Because number 7, get me a name on number 7, because we're going to talk a lot about number 7. When number 7 is matched up with the back all hunky-dory, that guy a freak. When number 22 is matched up with the back, watch out. Explosives might happen.
Arian
Carter. Damn good football player. Damn good football player, okay? And they use him in a very unique way as well. Hey, coffeehouse stunts all over college football. All over college football. Oh, I'm dropping. No, I'm not. Here comes a blitz. Watch out. Be prepared for it. We're going to show you on the film how to coach it up as well. Love me some Boo Carter. Love that they finally figured out whatever the nonsense was, because damn, is he a good football player. Also love, I think, is my man from Buford wearing number 6 from them, because he's playing nickel in the backup duties for Boo Carter and is actually getting starts because Boo Carter's nonsense, and he plays good football as well. I want to say... Either way, number 6 playing good ball in the nickel spot for them.
Jalen McMurray.
Yeah, Jalen McMurray. What number is number 5? What's his name?
Davian Hobbs or David Hobbs?
No. Either way, the kid from Buford was committed to Georgia. I'm forgetting his name.
Oh, Jaden Perlotti?
Yeah, Perlotti. I expected him to play. Guess he's not. Either way, 6 doing a good job in the nickel spot as well. They got 2 really, really good nickels on the defensive side of the football. And they make plays. The one thing I do think about this defense, and we'll show you on the film, they get upfield really, really heavy. They do a lot of stunts. They do a lot of twists. They hunt. They're aggressive. They're very, very counterable. All right. I think they're very counterable. I think they're very pin and pullable. I think they're very misdirection and gap schemable. And I think they might be able to be gashed in the run game because of it. They're very havoc wreaking. And we've always said on this network, if you're hunting TFLs, sometimes you can get smacked in the face with an explosive because you be putting 2 guys in one gap. And then all of a sudden we're misaligned and boom, one jump cut from Chauncey Bowens, 20-yard gasher right to the face. Watch out. They also spike that defensive end a ton, and they get way upfield. Okay, so it's going to look like it's presenting a bounce angle for you. They're wrapping that linebacker back around. I will say this. They play a lot of man-to-man coverage, but when they're not, they look very similar to you. They look very similar to what Georgia does defensively in the back end. That gives me a sense of comfort if I'm a Georgia fan, because not only is the quarterback a little bit more comfortable, but the coordinator is as well. He's seeing things that he normally sees. He's attacking things that he normally attacks. Level of continuity there for everybody involved. I think, however, that this Tennessee defensive game plan is going to be very, very simple. It's going to be put it at the feet of the quarterback and the wide receivers. They might be down 2 starting corners, guys, but they don't call defense like they give a damn. They call defense like they think they got 2 Darrell Reeveses in their prime out there playing corner. So they're going to do it to you. I know they did it to Steve Angeli, the Jelly Man, and I know it's Syracuse and it ain't Georgia, but they did it to them with 2 brand new starters out there essentially. And I think they're going to do it to you based off what everybody thinks about your quarterback. I think they're going to find out whether or not Gunnar can beat them. And I think that's not necessarily a good game plan, because I trust Gunnar in one-on-one situations. If we're just going to say, hey, can he throw a back shoulder fade to Colby Thomas? Then Colby Thomas is going to have 6 for 120 on Saturday, if that's what it's going to be, because I think they're going to win those a lot more than they lose them, despite the fact that I do like the young corners that Tennessee rolled out there. It ain't like they're rolling out slappies. They're good football players. So there is that. I think Mike Bobo and this offensive coordinating staff need to be ready with man-to-man beaters, because I think you're going to get it on Saturday.
And I mean, to the credit, that's mostly what Tennessee has given you.
Did I say Colby?
You said Colby Thomas. You mixed them together.
Huh.
Which, I mean, we all knew what you said.
Yeah,
Didn't,
knew what you meant.
Didn't bother to stop the flow to correct you. But no, yeah, I mean, we've seen a handful of times that this is mostly... Yeah, AI, mark that down as a football moment.
Yeah, AI, mark that down.
I turned an expo marker.
Yeah, I did too.
But yeah, no, I think that they'll be capable of getting man beaters in this game.
I think that it sounds like what teams used to try and do against Georgia, whereas like we're just going to play man-to-man defense because we think our corners are better than your wide receivers. And you know, like that might be true. Maybe you are able to do that, but we've also been saying that this is the best wide receiver room that Georgia has had in quite a long time. So it like push comes to shove, one of them has to give. We'll see which one
Before I
does.
get into our predictions, guys, I want to kind of like test a take right quick. This is like a half-baked take, and we'll be able to look back at this at the end of the year and say, damn, he was really, really right, or we'll just forget it entirely. Is this game their toughest test in the regular season? And here's why. Okay. First of all, first road start in the SEC, historically, not an easy go at it, all right? Especially for a first year, like real young quarterback in the start position, all right? I think Tennessee is playing explosive. I think they're playing confident. I think they've got a top 25, top 20, maybe top 15 defense, okay? Really, really sound on the defensive side of the football, and a quarterback who's playing really, really confident and explosive right about now. And it's not just about Tennessee for me at this moment. I think the way Alabama looked in week one, it gives me confidence that in 3 weeks, Georgia can run the ball and out defense that Alabama football team. All right. I think the way Arch Manning is playing football right now and throwing the football and mechanically falling apart at times, I think they're gettable, especially with the history of what your defense does to that Texas offense. I look at Austin Simmons turning the football over ad nauseum right now, and I don't necessarily think that one was as tough as what I thought it was coming into the year. Of all of your opponents on this really, really tough schedule, Tennessee's the one that looks way tougher right now today than they did in August, and the rest of your schedule looks like they've gone down. Am I crazy for thinking if you get past this one, guys, with running the ball, playing defense, and Gunnar looking like he has through 2 weeks, you got 11 wins in the bag, in my opinion.
It's certainly not crazy to say that, and I think that we've all agreed that the Tennessee matchup has become exponentially harder than it was 3 months ago than we were all looking at. I mean, we were sitting here in March being like, yeah, Tennessee, that's a win. You know, you're not saying that anymore. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be your toughest test yet. It's your scariest one.
I mean, it also helps you get the other ones at home.
At home.
For sure.
And this is a top 3 environment in college football.
For sure. It's your scariest one because if you don't pass this test, everything behind it's going to be that much harder for you, and there's going to be that much pressure stacked up against you. I don't know if necessarily it will be its toughest, though.
Chat's asking, is at Auburn scary to me? I'm not right now worried about Jackson Arnold. Watching that defense play football, if Jackson Arnold has 18 totes against that defense, he is going to be hurting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I feel like it's still the same storyline that you've talked about with Tennessee since Josh Heupel got hired of. Like, the scariest thing about facing Tennessee is that they might hit you over the head in a blink of an eye. Like, that's the scariest.
Yeah.
Like, no matter the situation, this offense can get you at any moment. Like, that's always the scariest thing about going up against this offense, and especially this year compared to last year, because they're actually hitting their explosives right now, and Joey Aguilar is taking them, and he's capitalizing on those opportunities. So, yeah, like, I think it is like the scariest opponent so far, but like, I think it could end up being the toughest test as well.
Here's what I think the scariest thing about this game is. You've never really had to have a fourth quarter game in Neyland under Kirby Smart. I think you have one this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like since 2017, it's been, all right, this game's over by the first half. We're up 2 scores. The crowd's out of it. We don't have to fight that. Fourth down, fourth quarter, third downs, those are going to be hectic if this game is close, and that's going to be a true test for Georgia.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to get after it. It's predictions time. Way too early on a Monday. The Georgia Bulldogs headed to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee for a 3:30 kickoff, college game day in town. Boys, the key to the matchup right here for me, which quarterback and wide receiver core can actually win downfield. It's the major key in this matchup every single time they play. Yes, both football teams are being committed to the run. Yes, you've got to be able to stop the run or successfully run the football to win this matchup. But ultimately, this game will be decided by the players on the outside actually making plays and being explosive, in my opinion. And I think Georgia's got the edge for this reason. I like their wide receivers versus Tennessee's young corners. I like Georgia's veteran corners versus Tennessee's lack of experience in big-time football games at the wide receiver position. I do like Tennessee's quarterback advantage in this game. However, give me the weapons and the matchup for Georgia. I think they got the edge on the outside.
My biggest key to this game is whichever team stops to run the best. Because, again, that's what Georgia wants to do this year. That is, their bread and butter right now. They've shown that. They've got a lot of backs that like to rely on those. And then for Tennessee, that's what opens everything up in the offense. And the biggest reason why Georgia's held the advantage in this matchup is because they can stop Tennessee's run with light boxes. If that continues for Georgia in this game, I like their chances. But if Georgia cannot run the ball offensively in this game, I like Tennessee's chances. So whoever does that the best, I think that's going to be the team that wins.
I'm right there with you on the deep shots, Brooks. Tennessee has had these opportunities pretty much under the entire Heupel era. They have not been able to connect on them because Georgia's DB play has been that good. Their interior defensive line play has been that good and has made that launch point so crowded for these quarterbacks that it's been inaccurate when these receivers do get open. If Joey Aguilar and Tennessee can hit 2 or 3 of these, it's going to be a completely different game because they will be actually be able to score points and put Georgia in a situation where they feel like they have to struggle and strain on offense. So yeah, that's the big key for me.
The X factor for me, boys, isn't an individual player. It's an individual matchup. I really think Tennessee, based off what I've seen through 2 weeks, I wouldn't be attacking Ellis Robinson. I wouldn't be attacking Daniel Harris. I wouldn't be attacking Dalen Everett. I'd be attacking number 8, Jonell Aguero, in the slot with Mike Matthews. Okay. I think that matchup between Jonell Aguero and Mike Matthews, who ultimately wins it and comes out on the back end and limits the amount of explosives, will depict the ultimate outcome of this football game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Tennessee's offensive line. I think that they've had good offensive lines. This one seems to be like it might be one of their better ones, but they just haven't been tested yet. And especially this matchup with Georgia's front versus Tennessee's front. If Tennessee can establish not dominance up front, but if they can just be consistent up front, I think that, again, that'll open up everything for them. So if Tennessee's offensive line can hold up, if they can buy time for Joey Aguilar to get these deep shots off, and if they can open up holes for Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas, they're going to be in good shape. Yeah,
Joey Aguilar is my X factor. Look, Hendon Hooker couldn't connect on the deep shots. Joe Milton couldn't. We know Nico had trouble doing so. If Joey Aguilar can, at the very least, make Georgia go, oh no, we need to dedicate another body to the pass, Tennessee's run game is going to be able to speed up, and that's going to become a big problem offensively.
I thought the major key in that Hendon Hooker 2022 matchup was the fact that y'all got home so quickly in that matchup.
Yes.
Every time they had a free runner in the back end, and I believed Hendon was going to hit those.
Yeah.
And he did historically. That's why they were the most explosive team in college football. But y'all were hitting him so quickly in that football game. It's a major key in this one. How quickly can you get home? Because Aguilar's playing the position better than anybody else since Hendon, in my opinion, through 2 games.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
All right, unless it doesn't happen, I love this Georgia defense. I love these Georgia corners. I love this Georgia line of scrimmage play. Georgia keeps Tennessee out of the end zone. Field goals only on Saturday. You heard it here first. Unless it doesn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
That's a big unless it doesn't happen.
I'm telling you, I think this defense is special, man. And I'm setting myself up to be absolutely embarrassed because, Josh Heupel scored 40-plus points in 54% of his games as a college football coach. So I'm setting myself up here. It could get ugly on Saturday. I don't think it will. Georgia's defense absolutely lights out on Saturday. You heard it here first.
I agree with you. I don't know if they're not going to keep him out of the end zone the whole game, but they are forcing 2 turnovers. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Joey does push it.
He does.
He does. He's going to give guys a chance. Could be dangerous.
It could flip it either way for sure on that one. I think, you know what? I'll play into it. I think Gunnar has 2 45-plus yard touchdowns on Saturday. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Big Gunnar. Big Gunnar wanna on the road. You'll love to see it. Hey, let's map it out. You know the deal around here. If you've been listening to this network around here with regards to this football game and this matchup, Kirby Smart versus Josh Heupel, I am a I don't believe it unless I see it type of predictor. Give me Georgia. I will not pick Josh Heupel against Kirby Smart until it happens. Give me Georgia in a rock fight, 24-17. Ladies and gentlemen, an absolute death march to close this football game in the fourth quarter. Georgia spent all offseason talking about being physical. Georgia's talked all offseason about stopping the run and running the football. It's what wins this football game on the road in Neyland Stadium, 24-17. Give me the Dogs.
Yeah, I think with what I've seen from this defense on film so far, with how good the front looks, with how good your linebackers are, and especially with how good all of your corners look. I mean, typically you might have 2 or 3 good ones. Georgia has 4 really good ones that they've relied on for the entire season. So I think that plays perfectly into what they want to do against Tennessee. They feel like that they can cover you, and they feel like they can stop the run with light boxes. I think they're going to be able to do that with this defensive personnel that they have. I think it's a tight football game, though. I don't think that there's going to be a team that pulls away in this one. I think it's just going to be a bit of a back and forth until the very end. And I think Georgia's going to get a late score to put them ahead. I have Georgia winning this one 27-21.
Wow. That's pretty close to what I have. In the last 4 matchups against Josh Heupel, Tennessee has always scored first, whether it be field goal or touchdown. Georgia has then come back at some point with an onslaught of double-digit unanswered points. It's happened in every single game. I think that's kind of similar to what you're going to see here. The only difference is I don't know if you get up on this Tennessee team, they're going to stay down. I think they have the opportunity to be explosive enough to score points in this game. I think it's going to be a very back and forth, 2 different types of stylistically matches. I think you're going to go through the first half and say, wow, Georgia has, other than these 2 or 3 plays, stifled Tennessee's offense completely. Meanwhile, they've really marched the ball methodically down the field, and yet it's a 1-score game here. I think it's that way the entire way. Here's the difference, though. I trust Kirby Smart in these situations. I trust his coaching, the record, the fact that he hasn't allowed a Josh Heupel offense to score more than 20 points or reach the 20-point threshold alone says that he knows what he's doing against this. I think Tennessee's got the weapons to score more points. I do trust Georgia in this game, though. I have them 27-20 Dogs win.
We all have it being a fourth quarter fist fight.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be so close.
This one's going to be a tough football game for Georgia if they come out alive. I'm telling you, you're going to have a hard time keeping me from talking about Georgia being a real national championship stamped contender. If they get out of that football game, like I think 24-17 running the rock, they gonna beat a lot of football teams.
No, here's an interesting side conversation a little bit, because you talked about how you think that Tennessee's going to run man coverage, and now there are obviously things that Tennessee can do to stop this, but that could very well open up some big scramble plays for Gunnar if they're just locked on. And now they could put a spy, they could do all those things. Like, there are plenty of ways to stop that.
I think as we enter SEC play, I don't think Gunnar Stockton's outrunning Arian Carter.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as we get into that area, and they don't even have to spy him. It's like cover one robber. The robber's going to run him down. But what it does do, Jonathan, is instead of 3rd and 9, because we got sacked on 2nd and 4, you're in 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a total different ball game, because now we can actually run read option. We can run the ball. We have everything. We can get into a play action pass under center.
It could
we
be
can
4 down
actually
territory
play.
for us.
Yeah, it's 2 down territory. It's total different math. And I think, again, that's something that's beneficial. The reason why Gunnar is playing is because he's continuing to keep them inefficient downs and not turning the ball over while still going through the growing pains.
Yeah.
I think that's good. We watch a lot of football around here, guys. There's some really bad quarterback play around college football. Really bad quarterback play right about now. One of them's making $2.5 million down there in Gainesville and ain't playing good football right about now. Yours is making $250,000 and he's playing on time, and I just got to get him to trust himself just a little bit. That's it. And I got a top 5 defense and one of the best running games, we think, in the SEC right about now.
No. I do think a caveat to add, though, is this is Gunnar Stockton's first road start.
100%, dude. I mean, I was there in Auburn. I was there 2 years ago with 2 all-pros playing on the offensive side of the football, and I watched it. Yeah. Like, we know what it looks like. The good news is I think you're not going to get turned into one-dimensionals. Like if you are, when you got turned one-dimensional against Carson or with Carson back there, it was, hey, they're throwing the football. Like you get one-dimensional here, they're rolling over us in the run game. Now, the big concern is, what if they jump on top of you?
Yeah.
What if they do get up to a 14, 17 point lead? Like that becomes worrisome.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe something clicks for Gunnar.
Yeah. Maybe that's what pushes him to that point.
Yeah.
Of, well, now it's go time. Like there's no option
for him, and now it's just like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
I thought I knew. Now I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I had another point I was going to make, but now I can't think of it. Oh, but also to the point of this is Gunnar's first road start. It's also Joey Aguilar's first time playing he might have played one at his time at App State, but this is first
Clemson.
He got Clemson. First time playing SEC defense.
I think he threw 4 picks, but he got Clemson.
Oh, he got Clemson there.
Hey, by the way, I asked Kirby about Aguilar, and he can't say it, but I think he agrees based off the compliments he threw at the guy. This is the best quarterback they've had since Hendon.
Yeah.
By far.
I would agree with that for sure.
Or at least he's playing the best football.
He's definitely the most consistent.
Through 2 games.
Yeah, through 2 games, he's been the most consistent quarterback that they've had since Hendon.
Yeah, he's actually, he's playing quarterback.
Yeah.
You know,
it's amazing what happens when you do that in that offense.
Yeah. Hey, we got a lot of content. What's up? You got something for me?
Before you cut off, he's the most experienced quarterback since Hendon.
Yeah.
Joe Milton was getting starts here and there up until then, and then was a full-time starter. Nico was practically a freshman. I mean, Joey Aguilar's got, 3 seasons of App State football under his belt beforehand, so it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that's our show for tonight. We appreciate y'all for being here. A lot of people watching right now. Do me a favor before you leave. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. All right. We appreciate you for being here. If it was your first timer, make sure you're subscribing to the network. We're here every Monday through Thursday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, doing great stuff. I got a defensive film study coming out for you guys tomorrow. We're going to take a look at that Tennessee defense. It's a good one. They be wreaking havoc. Fun to watch. We'll see you.